A big week once again here on the Hudy Pole King of TV Bowling, and you're looking at Derrick hooks. And folks, if you want to see a guy that can let it go, I don't think I've ever seen a guy on our show in the last couple of years that throws the ball as hard as he does.
With the exception of Big John from the left side, we haven't had anybody throw the ball with that much authority. Tommy, you're absolutely right. But the revolutions, wow.
His opponent's no slouch either. That's Mike Whalen. A couple of big dudes here in his first game.
I'll tell you what, if we had the tail of the tape, we'd lay it on the screen for you right now. Both of these players, strength is not an essential part of the game, Tommy, but I'll tell you what, with these two people, it doesn't hurt. Mike Whalen, if we're going to pick a winner, let's go by the tape. What do you think? Mike Whalen benches 390. Derrick hooks benches 400.
Now, wait a minute. We were talking before the telecast, and I thought somebody had told us that Mike said, hey, Derrick doesn't bench 400. He said he's at 390 just like I am. He's not to be outdone in any regard.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, the strength isn't a factor, but it's nice to talk about these two guys. Talking about some nice people, too, that have really put in some hours on the bowling lanes. Practicing, Mike Whalen comes home on the left lane with a perfect strike.
Mike Whalen. He was, I believe, on our show last year, was he not?
Yes, he was. And as a matter of fact, it was his first time that he was ever king, and he has been on the show 36 times.
We've seen a lot of those types of folks who have been with us many times, and boy, Derrick Hooks is high-flying out of the gate.
That's right. He is cooking. Let's watch the replay here, Tommy. You want to see power? You want to see strength?
No.
We got plenty of it. Out to about the 4th or 5th board. Watch this. 1-3 pocket, annihilated. 10-pin, no chance.
I mean, those pins just go straight to the back. They don't even, it's not one of those deals where they bounce off the back of the lane a couple of times.
10 in the pit,
10 in the pit.
Jeez.
One of my favorite terms.
Looking for number 3 in a row.
Yes.
Forget it.
Yes.
Just forget it. Is he the kind of guy, due to the...
Causes the pop.
Much like your finger out of a pop bottle. Oh, here we go.
And it's important for the thumb to come out cleanly to get the power. As Dave said, yes, he does put the thumb in the ball. Yes, he does, but it comes out very cleanly.
Mr. Disanto answers right back. You see that clenched fist? He says, boys, I want to win one.
Let's watch the replay on this, Tommy. If he gets this strike, well, we'll watch a replay next time. If he got that strike, he knew in his own mind he could maintain his 11-pin lead. So what's he do? He steps up there and just throws a crusher, Tommy. I got a lot of respect for this guy.
He's been impressive. He and Derrick Hooks both. Again, first time on the telecast.
That was a great shot. He's really applying the pressure.
This is the match we've been waiting for. Our King Riga Kalfas and Tony Disanto. And boy, this should be one of the better matches we have had on the show this season.
Couple of 20-year-olds. Oh, I love this youth. Dave, how about you?
You know what? Smart out.
Abuse.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. But, we brought up the first match. Strength, power, but both of those players are gone.
Now we've got the men who have put 10 in the pit consistently, and, well, we've seen Riga do this a number of times, where he started off the match leaving the 9 or the 10, and boy, once he picks up this spare, more times than not, of course, it's been Katie bar the door for his opponent.
Well, there you see it. The 10-pin, through no fault of his own, is still standing. He threw a great shot, just like last week, Tommy. That solid 7. I hate to be redundant, but my, what a shot. And he physically could not have thrown that 12th ball any better than what he did.
We said at the outset, folks, if you missed our show last week, as the old saying goes, you missed the boat big time. Because I'm not kidding you, that was just one of the most exciting sporting events that I have ever personally had a chance to see, watching Riga go to that last ball, of course, for the attempt at 300.
Right there, you're looking at Tom Schiller. Fine-looking man with the red tie. Good friend of mine.
Tony! Get the scream started. I tell you, a few people asked, last week when they saw me after the show, they asked, when was the last 300? Well, it was bowled in 1975 at Stones Lanes, and it was on Easter Sunday, and was bowled by a man by the name of Bob Dieters. That was the one and only. We're looking for another one. It won't be this week, but I'm not giving up.
No, with these two guys shooting, you can't still rule out that 250 plus. What kind of car did Tom bring out today, Jen?
He brought us a Taurus, one of my favorites. $14,500 car.
It's got the Insta-Clear windshield on it. You know what that is?
Oh, no, gotta
it
have
looks
that.
like aluminum foil, you know, and all you do is flip a switch and the ice goes away, right? For guys
nice
like you, guys like you, Tommy, you ought
who
to
run late, who consistently run late, and you need that right off.
Tony marking in the second frame. Striking the first, spare up, gives him 20. There you see him. He looks very confident to me.
Very relaxed, and as we've alluded to quite a few times, he's not watching, or at least at that point was not watching, not even interested in what Riga was doing.
Exactly, as Riga sets up to throw his second frame. This would be his first shot on lane 22 of this match.
Looking for the strike.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
That's the shot we've seen week after week here.
Let's watch the release it on Riga's shot now. He's going to be coming from about the 9th board where he sets it down, arcing the ball out to about, there you see, about the 9th board. Now it's going to arc out to about 5, right there at its furthest point out, and now it starts its trip back home. 1-2 pocket, look out. You guys are out of here.
Both of these gentlemen are so solid at the line. Really get a lot of power behind it because of that.
What a difference. We saw the slow-mo back when Mike Whalen was releasing and all the loft that he was putting on the ball. These guys get it down on the lane right now.
Yeah, they get it down earlier, get it absolutely perfect. First 3 shots, absolutely perfect, each and every one of them. You know, it's in a triptych for me.
All right, Kerry Logan needs the strike. And again, Dave, I mean, you pointed it out so well earlier, just not getting the help from the pins.
We went with a little more loft this time, Tommy. Let's watch it here on the replay. Watch how far out in the lane that ball goes before it hits. See there? Almost to the arrows. Now that's going to delay the roll. It always delays the roll. And then watch the ball deflect to the left. Right there it deflects, takes the 2-pin straight back, and the 4-pin goes to the channel, tries to come out to no avail. He missed it last time. Let's watch now.
He's got it this time. Why would I guess noticing, taking a look at that loft, why would Kerry change at this point? He had his line dead on the money his first 4 balls, and even the 2 he missed.
Well, as
you can bad misses.
Exactly, Tommy. A 7-pin lead to Kerry Logan, as the score sheet will show you. 7 pins, both players with a spare up in the 7th. Why should anyone make a change? I'm not sure he has. Human machines make minor changes without knowing about it. Kerry, even though he lofts the ball more than a lot of players, it's one of the most difficult things to control, the amount of loft. He's back on track. That ball looked great.
Yeah, it did.
Right there, Brewery and Jerry Bettinghouse, and there's Irv Winky to the left over there. Fine showing. We got a nice crowd here today. Nice showing from Hudy.
Yeah, they've got quite a few folks out.
Yes, they do. We also have Bob Schwarking here. Mike Schott, the bigwig.
Yeah, that's right. Fine gentleman.
One of the nicest bigwigs you're going to meet, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
He and I had an extensive conversation the other day. We're going to be making sure that more Little Kings bite the dust in the very near future.
Hear, hear.
7 pins, still the deficit. Both players strike in the 8th. We have a match. Don't go away. Don't get a Hudy yet. Send a runner for one. You don't want to miss any shots.
Send the dog to get it. My dog can do that.
I don't believe
I'm telling you.
Sure.
You can go to the refrigerator, crack that bad boy open, and next thing you know, I got a cold Hudy and checking out some bowling action on the tube. Forget it, right?
I got to talk to you about this.
Oh, now there's some help. First time today we've seen it.
Yeah, you're right. Not a bad hit, but it's going to deflect. We can.
Well, they were hooting and hollering. We were opening up the show, and good crowd.
Probably a lot of rooters for Mike Niehaus, too. They seem to come out and root for each other, their gang that they hang around. Mike made the show last year here at Penn House, and the last Sunday. Did the same thing this year.
Oh.
The Love Tap 10. What you're going to see on this is the 6-pin working overtime. Now watch, the ball's going to deflect a little bit. Go to the right after it hits the head pin. Now right here, now watch it deflect. That's a 3-pin going straight back. That's a 6-pin going to the channel. Into the channel now. Which way are you going to fall? Huh? There you go.
All right.
Out of here.
Mike's married with 5 children. He doesn't look old enough to have 5 children. I don't believe that.
Wow, he's getting some help. Looks like those pins, David, are starting to liven up a bit.
A light mixer. Well, I tell you what, I hate to admit we make mistakes, but we did it. We were advised in the break that the last time you were on, what's the deal? He says, I've worked on staying slow. He didn't change his tempo at all. He says he's got a great shot. He feels good. I'm looking for another big game out of him this time.
And here's our current king, Bob Shoemer. Man, now, the thing about Bob, and maybe that
There we go. Where's the beef? There it is.
He got some help last week. I remember those last couple of strikes he rolled. I mean, that was the farthest places from where he wanted to be in terms of the line, but he got the help and got a little right there.
That's the turn and revolution that we talk about so often, Tommy, giving him that little extra edge. Throwing the thunderbolt, the Thundertolt today, which is a ball designed to hook a lot. So we got a big hooker throwing a ball that's designed to hook a lot. And to set up the match, as we saw with Mike Niehaus, the left lane is the lane that's playing a little bit tighter for the right-handers, leaving the 2, 4, 5, 8. There you see it. The 5-pin still wobbling just a wee bit, but on a strike, the count doesn't hurt him. But the spare is not easy.
I think that's the Lee's famous recipe chicken bucket we're looking at there, isn't it?
There we go.
Good stuff.
Look
I'll tell
out.
you, love them fights. Good cover.
Very good cover.
A lot of him, but he is pumped. He wants this one. He's told me before the show he wants this as bad as he's ever wanted anything in bowling, and I think we're going to see a lot of good shots out of him today. He feels comfortable with the condition on 7 and 8 as we watch Mr. Pollard cross over and start the match with a Brooklyn.
Now you see Bill, I got him confused there with his son for a second, who is our king.
Tommy, there's so many Pollards. We can understand that, okay?
I apologize.
Bill Jr., of course, Regina. Probably the best of the bunch, I'd venture. Would you
Oh,
say?
man.
I wouldn't let
Here we go again.
I know. I wouldn't let Bill hear any of that.
I think he'd probably agree, to tell you the truth.
Going in the second.
Right.
And 10 more in the pit for Bill Pollard.
Well, to set up the match, Tommy, you asked me in the open who might win. Well, again, we've got talent personified, but let me set it up. I didn't want to say it in front of the competitors. They already know this, but on this pair during the qualifying, 7 and 8, Roy Chesbro shot 268. Alan Runkel had a 171. Don Scudder a 213. And Bill Pollard a 190. The right-handers seem to have an advantage on this pair, judging from the stats that we have. Don Scudder starts out with another brilliant strike on lane 8, and he is lined up. He said he's comfortable with the shot. The ball's rolling clean. Today may be the day. How fitting would it be, huh? How fitting would it be?
Well, you mentioned the fact, Dave, that the right-handers may have the advantage today. For the most part, to be quite honest about it, over this course of the year, it's been the left-handers which have dominated our show.
Well, exactly right, Tommy, and still they're in a very good position. There we see Don Scudder. Is he pumped up or what? The replay will probably show us that Mr. Scudder is excited and his ball is active. He's hitting his mark. Watch it here. Right over the 9th board, straight up at him. Rooted home, Don. There you go. 1-3 pocket as he runs into frame.
Today.
Well, we went upstate to bowl a tournament about a month ago, and Lenny Ramsey and myself were invited to spend the evening. There's Lenny Ramsey there in a red shirt. We were invited to spend the evening at their home. They offered us the hospitality of their home and a little home cooking. Whew.
Bet you did some damage, didn't you?
I mean to tell you, I love to get out of town and eat. Yeah, that's right, eat.
Dave, I want to ask you a little bit about Allen. You mentioned the fact that he has had the hot hand without question in qualifying the last few weeks. But nevertheless, when he's come on the show, he has not done nearly as well. Have you had a chance to talk to him about that at all?
Well, Alan Runkel, as good as he is and as well as he's been bowling, is still basically a newcomer to television. He doesn't say he's nervous, but it's a different environment altogether. I mean, with the lights and the fact that there isn't more going on around you. Alan Runkel just throws an absolute rope here, leaves a stone 7. A little bit more speed. Now, the culprit here is going to be the 4-pin. Second one from the left-hand side of your screen. You see it go right around the belly. Could not have missed that 7-pin by more than a half an inch.
Well, Alan Runkel, who has been on our show 3 times this year, this being his 3rd, looking to pick up the spare, and he missed it. Boy, what a tough break.
Well, you've alluded to assist ball. Pulls it right over the 9th board, and it just continues to roll. Fills up the 1-3 pocket as well as any right-hander ever has. Not the thing Roy Chesbro wanted to see, but purely unintentional.
Getting back to our sponsors for just a sec, Jen, I know we have a lot of the folks from Hudy out here today, and
yes, we do.
They have just been splendid. I mean, not only the fact that they sponsor the show, but oh my, again, Chesbro. Pin high and comes up with that 4-7, 6-10 split.
Know what he's laughing about? The fact that he was ripping the rack every shot in practice. The lights come on. Big 4, big 4. Gives away a couple of pins there. Not
big trouble.
Not what you want.
As we were saying with Hudy, we have Mike Schott with us, of course, this morning, and Tony Plank, and we have Francie Patton, and George Hendrickson, and Connie Wagner, and Ken Dressman. We've got the whole crew out here. And we'd like to thank them for coming this morning.
Certainly would. We'll be able to see those folks in the seats in just a little bit. But
there's Vi McKinney to the right of your screen in the black. She is our manager out here at Strikes and Spares, and she's doing a fabulous job with this establishment.
So Roy Chesbro has apparently lost the touch.
You've alluded,
early going.
Tommy, you said it. You know, it hasn't been on the telecast all year. He obviously dominated the place yesterday in the qualifier. But now, all of a sudden, just completely losing it. The only thing we can possibly blame it on is a little red light.
Absolutely. This is the first time, in case you just joined us, that Roy has been on the telecast, and rough going.
Rough going's right. But we'll get through this.
I know we will.
Okay.
I have faith.
All right. Run down Roy's games for you. 268 in the opener, 205, 275, 188, 256, 195. Not what you'd say consistent across the house, but when he got to a pair that he was comfortable with, he strapped it for all it was worth. He averaged 231 for his games, and we talked about it on the opening. 268 on this pair. He's going to fall well short of that, obviously. Alan Runkel has taken a just absolute command of this match. The score sheet will show you that. A double gives him 110. Well, figure a 110 in the 4th frame. That gives him a 60-pin lead with half a game to go. Going to be tough to catch.
We had 7 300s this year in the King qualifiers, and Bob Rooney had 2 of those, getting his at Brentwood Bowl and Strikes and Spares. We also had Gary Berbrink at Glenn Schmitz. Terry Rose also at Fairfield.
The soft 7. We're going to watch it here. This is the hit. You know you've got a little stuff on the ball when you start carrying this 4-pin. Second one from the left-hand side of your screen. Right there going to the channel and then nudging out the 7 as it's supposed to. Now, believe it or not, with the match out of control, Roy Chesbro might strike from here to the wall, Tommy. In his opinion, he's lost the match already. Pressure's off. He's just going to get up there and freewheel, and that may be exactly what it takes.
He's still got 220 up there if he can go all the way off the sheet.
Well, Jen is quick with that, you know? I mean, she has those numbers down pat, no question about it.
Not really. I've been debating that for 4 frames.
Okay, well, see, Jen, you should have never said that.
See, the light shot, the relaxed release will give you that, and instead of yanking it up through the nose.
Over Tim George, who has been there every week, but once again got defeated. But I will really look for Tim George in the finals because I think he's greatly overdue.
You're absolutely right. He's but whoa!
Man,
we're talking about torque, and more torque here. Take a look at it on the replay, if you would, Jen. This ball actually teeters off and flirts with disaster. Right here, it's going to go out to the first board. Right there. Now it's like it hits an invisible wall. Make a left turn. Sure, here we go. 1-3 pocket filled up, no deflection here. Oh, jeez.
That was about 10 in the pit, as quick as you can throw 10 in the pit.
You got that right. Let's see if he goes that wide again. He did go that wide again, but not getting the good crackback that he does, leaving a solid 7. Ball actually rolled out just a little bit. Maybe we can pick it up here on the replay. The ball, let's see if this ball jumps to the right a little bit as it enters the pocket. Right here. Yep, there it goes. Okay, 5-pin barely gets back there. That's the 2-pin in the channel. Not quite what he wants to do. And playing that big sweeping hook, Jen, that's flirting with it out there, but it creates a good ball. This is kind of interesting, Jennifer. What's the whole story on this?
Well, it's sort of like an Olympic type deal, and they have inaugural sports, one of which is bowling this year. They also have cycling, gymnastics. And the competition format is it's a multi-age and skill levels determined by each of the sports, state, and governing body. So you can go and qualify with that locally and then go to the finals, which is up in Cleveland.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, we'll look forward to that. And Dave Callery just makes a ball change here, and you see it. He was using that baby blue. Now he's got the black one up there, the black hammer. It rolls a little straighter and goes a little further down the lane before it hooks. It deflects a little bit here on the back end, but he gets a great break off the 6-pin coming out of the channel to take the 10 out.
And you know that Kerry actually gave him the opportunity to make that ball change. When you have somebody else on 3 opens, you say, well, this ball wasn't quite working. Let's try a little something else, because you have a little bit of room for error.
Exactly. If it was a 10-pin match or less, or even 20 or less, you just don't do that sort of thing. And unfortunately for Kerry Logan, you can see that he...
Owned by Fran and Frank Ruggieri. Bob Ohmer pulls out a Western. As I said in the opening, we have 2 West Siders. Joe Hetzer is a local boy. His Aunt Mickey Heath manages out here. He knows these lanes, I'd say.
Well, he's had to know something for the scores that he posted to get on the show, Jen, and likewise for Joe. Joe is a little unorthodox, but rolls the ball fabulously. And this sounds like he brought a busload of fans with him. Take a look at his release if you can. It is a good, clean shot off, and look at that cup wrist. Maximum power, just really twirls up and through the shot. Great shot for Joe to open the match. Joe Hetzer.
Joe says he likes to stay slow with his feet and make sure he extends out to his mark.
Actually got that ball in a little bit, and it did hold, Joe.
Yeah, looks like he has a little area. He definitely swung the ball wide on the right lane. On the left, he pulls it in a little bit, sets in the oil.
There's a cup release again.
Very nice style.
Yeah, stays down. It's a little stiff-legged, but he keeps his upper body down through the shot, and that's the important thing. Nicely done by Hetzer. Ohmer, on the other hand, started with a strike, and he hopes to answer right here. Boy, it's easy to see why these 2 players are here, Jen.
Oh, no doubt about it. 8-10 series for Bob Ohmer. He rolled to make it to this show, and Joe had a 748. These guys are players.
Well, this is how you shoot 800. You stay low, you get through the ball with some power, and even though he falls off the shot, the maximum power is there as it drives the pins back into the pit. A lot of game for 2 people that we have never seen on TV before.
That's right. Neither player has been. Which makes it nice when they strike. That kind of loosens them up.
Well, that's a good point, Jen. The first part of the show, you really have to have that.
Wow.
And Lane, you, Hetzer, you could hear the following. And that, Jen, I don't know, does that help? Having people behind you?
I would definitely think so, although it may add a little pressure if it's your friends and they're bowlers and they kind of look up to you.
Great shot.
But he's obviously loose, so I see no problems here. I can't see that hurting him at all.
Doesn't look like it. Joe Hetzer really putting on a bowling clinic for us so far today, winning that first match over Ohmer, 231 to 214. Bob Ohmer needed the first strike in the 10th to have a shot at winning and did not do so. So Joe Hetzer is match number 2, the man with the planes.
Joe Hetzer's aunt, by the way, is Mickey Heath, and Mickey is just a fine, fine woman bowler. Has been for years and still strikes up there with the best of them. Joe gets instructions from Mickey, by the way, when he's having problems, he says.
Joe lives in White Oak, Mount Healthy area, and has been there for 22 years. That means all of your life, right, Jen?
That's right.
Bowls right here out of Coleraine Bowl. He's a house player, and that may be an advantage today.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, lucky to get 7 on that.
Remember what he said about his feet? He's got some fast feet here. Let's take a look at it. Whoa, just really gets out over the lane. Lucky the ball. There you see it teetering on the edge. Very fortunate to come up with a pin count of 7. I've seen shots like that net you 0.
That ball was going so sharply that it could have been a washout.
Brings back the spare nicely.
Tri-State Bowling Supply, Joe Vitucci out there at Tri-State has so many fine products for bowlers, and he donates every week an accessory bowling bag to all the bowlers and towels.
With a bunch of goodies in it, huh?
Tri-State have a few locations. You can look them up and go get yourself some good equipment.
Rick Robertson, opening with a light shaking 8-10 split, goes high on that particular delivery. His first one on the right-hand lane, his frame number 2. Rick is 33 years old, 5'11", 175 pounds. Married to Susan of 14 years. His 13-year-old daughter, Diane. And Ricky, age 10.